So I just finished watching the parts of the expose put out by Anastasia Gapkoska. Lovely, lovely piece of work. She gathered 88 people together and they talked about this journey from going to from a relationship that is toxic, some sort of abuse within the relationship, whether it be physical, emotional, financial, or even sexual. And realizing that people can move into a place of resilience and thriving. And that was the common theme that people were sharing. It's finding that strength and that resilience within themselves. And so many people shared touching, vulnerable stories about how they experienced life, difficult life, and what they learned and grew out of that. And I just wanted to share a couple, little ideas that came to mind. And first of all, congratulations, Anna, for a wonderful piece of work and for what you're doing and raising awareness. When we go through life, sometimes, it's our own personal beliefs of self-worth that can set the framework for what we experience. And I wanted to throw this idea because if you're in a toxic relationship or if you're in a relationship where you're constantly being degraded or fault is found with you, where you're feeling bad or sad, that shouldn't be the way that relationship is for most of the time. And especially with toxic relationship, there's this push pull where you're being trauma bonded with the person. And it's a very subtle form of emotional manipulation. But I want to bring it back to self because I think that this is one of the things that are critical. It's exploring what it is that you believe about yourself. And that's the question I'd like to ask for you to ask yourself. And the question is this: what are the beliefs I hold about myself that allow me to accept mistreatment? I'm going to say it again. What are the beliefs I hold about myself that allow me to accept mistreatment? Often we have this underlying belief that we're not good enough or we're not worthy of love, right? We may have some experience in the past that has traumatized us, that has left us with this unworthiness of love, respect, or happiness. And many times it may come from the family environment we grew up in or a past relationship. But there's an important lesson here, and that is your worth, right? Who you are is independent of any way that others treat you. And often we have this critical narrative that's going within our own mind, right? We're not kind to ourselves. And I want you to know that you are worthy of kindness. And we need to start practicing being kind to ourselves, being a little bit forgiving to ourselves, being a little bit more understanding to ourselves. And it's accepting that we may not be perfect. We might be just a little bit unskilled. And a skill can be developed over time with practice. Even things like boundary setting are not easy because if you don't know how to do it, it can seem difficult. Even learning to walk when we were very, very young, it didn't happen overnight. We would stand up and fall down, and we would keep getting up over and over again until we were able to manage it. Skills like boundary setting, skills like just stopping the negative self-talk, those things are skills. And even if you find that those things come up for you, it's having a little bit of grace for yourself, allowing yourself to accept that, hey, I may have missed it this moment, but I'll practice it again. And just keep practicing and notice if things start changing for you. One of the things that I would like to replace with that critical narrative that might be going on in your mind, that critical thought loop, is change the narrative to being it's changing the narrative to recognizing that you deserve to be treated with kindness, respect, and dignity. Just remember that. You deserve to be treated with kindness, respect, and dignity. And just like when an unskilled child, messes up, sometimes even in relationships or even in communications, we may have a mistake. Even as a child, even when you make a mistake, you're still deserving of being treated with kindness, respect, and dignity. Next time we'll talk about, that inward journey of finding, actually finding what we seek within ourselves. It's my belief that I don't know that we can find it externally. And then we'll also talk on a following episode about collective growth, learning that skill of living together. After that, we'll have an episode on from surviving to thriving, and then we'll wrap it all up with practical steps for change. I appreciate you all. I hope you are having an amazing life. And please comment on what you found helpful or any ideas you'd like to explore.